What if I told you that you could break into a $44 billion industry for $0? Not $50,000, not $100,000, zero. Self-storage has profit margins nearly double the average business. And here's what nobody tells you. The big players, public storage, extra space, they only control 35% of the market. The rest are all small operators, family businesses, people who started with their driveway. Today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to start a micro self-storage business using a framework called the LaunchRight Canvas. We'll cover the 9 critical areas you need to nail, from renting out your garage for passive income all the way up to building a container storage facility. And if you're serious about starting this business, check out the LaunchRight Academy, where you can access supplier lists, financial models, competitor teardowns, and 90-day startup roadmaps and more. The link is in the description below. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about the problem you're actually solving here. Americans have too much stuff and nowhere to put it. Homes are shrinking, more people rent apartments with no garage, no basement, no attic, and every major life transition, moving, divorce, death in a family, or military deployment, even sending a kid to college creates an instant need for more storage. Here's what makes this interesting. Only 9.5% of Americans currently use self-storage. The demand keeps growing every single year. The customers who feel this pain most acutely fall into 3 main groups. First is homeowners in homes under 1,800 square feet who need overflow space, apartment dwellers with zero storage options, and even small business owners who need inventory space but just can't justify warehouse rent. Now here's your competitive advantage. I spent hours reading customer reviews of public storage and extra space. I've even used them myself, and people hate them. The complaints are brutal. Sudden rent increases of 100% or more, security cameras that don't work, even rodents eating belongings, rude staff, you name it. One customer wrote, they raised my rent from $56 to $91 in a short period. The units are not secure. AJ Osborne, who built a portfolio of over 1 million square feet, said it best. Self-storage saved my family's financial life. When he was paralysed and hospitalised, his storage investments kept his family secure. But the common mistake, trying to build like the big chains. Don't do that. Go where the giants can't or won't follow. So let's talk numbers, because they are insane. The US self-storage market is worth $44.5 billion today and projected to reach $50 billion by 2029. That's a growth rate of 2.3%, and it's recession-proof. People need storage whether the economy is up or down. And here's the exciting part. There are over 52,000 self-storage facilities already in America right now. That's more than McDonald's, Starbucks, and Subway combined. And still, 40% of the market is controlled by small independent operators. The top 5 companies, only 35% market share. The industry is wildly fragmented. What makes this viable right now for small operators? Well, budget equipment has completely changed the game. Traditional ground-up construction costs of $750,000 or more are gone. Container-based micro-storage is $60,000 plus. That's an 85% reduction in startup capital. But the wide-up space I see is underserved small towns. Gavin Shields, founder of Stora, built his strategy by mapping every facility in his region and finding towns with 15,000 plus population but no storage within 3 miles. And that gap exists everywhere. Container storage also works in areas where traditional construction is no longer economical. Rural markets, suburban overflow, anywhere where land is cheap but building is expensive. The timing is right. 11,000 baby boomers retire daily, often downsizing and needing storage. Remote work is driving suburban migration, and e-commerce is creating small business inventory needs. So what makes winners different from losers in this space? It comes down to one thing. Service. The companies that fail try to compete on price with the giants. That's a losing game. The winners pick a specific angle and own it completely. Gavin Shields again put it this way. When I saw limited use of modern technology at many existing facilities, I sensed a big opportunity. He built automated 24/7 accessible facilities that require minimal staff. Another founder named Joe converted horse stalls into storage units. He charges 30 to 40% higher rents than competitors by offering LED lighting, electricity, and door operators in every single unit. Premium amenities command premium prices. Your value proposition needs to be crystal clear, and here are options that actually work. Option 1, local service, local owner. I answer my phone, the corporate chains don't. Option 2, technology first. Automated booking, smart locks, 24/7 access, the convenience that customers want. Option 3, premium security. Real cameras that record, gates that work, lighting that deters criminals. Position against the horror stories from big chains. And option 4, niche focus. RV and boat storage only, climate-controlled wine storage, business inventory specialists, you name it. Proof point that you're building towards is repeat customers who refer their friends. When your Google reviews are filled with 5 stars, while public storage has angry rants, that is your moat. Okay, this is a section that's going to change how you think about this business. Because here's what most people do not understand. They think you need $1.5 million to start a self-storage business. And you don't. Not even close. Let me break down the different entry levels. Level 1, $0 to $5,000 peer-to-peer storage. No construction is needed. You rent out your space that you already have, be it a garage, driveway, a basement, or spare room. Platforms like Neighbour and Spacer connect you directly with customers, charge anywhere from $75 to $200 per month for vehicle storage, and this is the proof of concept with zero risk. Level 2, $5,000 to $25,000. Land lease arbitrage. Find underutilized land, a mechanic's lot, farmer's edge property, a vacant lot. Lease it cheap. One operator pays $200 per month for 5 parking spots and rents them out for $150 each. That's incredible margin. Add portable containers as revenue grows. Level 3, $60,000 to $150,000. A container facility. Buy 10 to 20 foot shipping containers. Used 20 foot containers run anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 each. Buy from Alibaba or made in China for $800 to $2,500 new. Add fencing, a gate with a keypad, lighting, cameras and software, and you are good to go. Level 4, $150,000 to $500,000. Conversion or acquisition. This is when you convert existing warehouses or retail buildings 37 to 50% cheaper than new construction, or even acquire an underperforming facility. So the key insight is level 1 and 2 are viable entry points. You can generate real income while learning the business, then scale up from there. Gavin Shields bootstrapped by selling personal shares to fund his first facility. He designed for automation to keep costs down. But the common mistake? Building expensive before you've proven demand. Start lean, validate, then upgrade. So how do you actually get customers? Because here's the reality. 70% of self-storage customers search online before renting. The highest ROI channel, your Google business profile. It's free, optimized for self-storage near me in your town. Get reviews, that is your biggest assets. For level 1 and 2, the platforms do the work. Neighbour and Spacer bring customers directly to you. You just need good photos and a competitive pricing. For levels 3 and up, here is what works. First, signage. High traffic road frontage provides free daily impressions. A professional sign with now renting and your phone number generates calls. Second, Google ads for self-storage. Use whatever town you're in, people searching are ready to buy. Third, partnerships. Real estate agents have moving clients. Apartment complexes have storage, less residents. Estate attorneys handle deceased estates and need additional storage. Even moving companies want referral fees. So think partnerships. Gavin Shields pre-leased units during construction to pull forward his break-even timeline. Target leases 6 to 12 months out. And here's a framework that works. Spend your first month doing market research. Drive around town, count existing facilities, check their rates, and read their Google reviews. Find the gaps. By the time you build or launch, you know exactly what customers want and need. Aggregator sites like Sparefoot, selfstorage.com work on a pay-per-lead or commission model basis. They're really good for new facilities building initial occupancy, despite the costs. So what does success actually look like in the first 90 days? Well, let me give you some real numbers. For a level 3 container facility with 20 to 30 units, conservative targets are around 30 to 40% occupancy rate with monthly revenue of anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000. That gives you a 70% margin and a break even of around month 12 to 18. Aggressive targets, 50% plus occupancy, monthly revenue of $5,000 or more with a gross margin of 75%. That brings your break even down to 6 to 9 months. The key metrics you should really obsess over are for sure occupancy rate. Industry average is around 85 to 95% for stabilization. You need 60 to 70 just to break even. Second, gross margin. The industry average is around 64%, but container storage can hit 75 because you don't have hallways, elevators, or other HVAC services to maintain. Third, customer acquisition costs. For self-storage, keep this under $100 per customer. Most of your leads should come organically through Google and drive-by traffic, essentially free. For a level 3 start, here's your budget breakdown. Containers around 15 units, $20,000 to $45,000. Fencing, $8.5 to $35,000. Security system, anywhere up to $5,000. Software, $300 a month. Working capital, probably need $10,000 to $20,000. That's a total of anywhere between $60,000 and $150,000. Your timeline, weeks 1 to 4 for site selection and permits, week 5 to 8 for container delivery and setup, and then weeks 9 to 12 for first customer and operations. Milestones to hit, well, first paying customer within 30 days of opening is a great success story. 50% occupancy within 6 months, that's your validation. So let's talk unit economics. The numbers that actually determine whether this business works or doesn't. For container storage, here is the math. A used 20-foot container costs, let's say, $2,000 on average. Can be as low as $800 from China. You rent it for $100 to $150 per month. That's $1,200 to $1,800 per year from a $2,000 asset. That's a 60 to 9% annual return at full occupancy. What else gives you that? The industry benchmark for profit margin is 36 to 41%, nearly double the 22% cross-industry average. It's an amazing business. But how do successful operators retain customers? Well, never raise rents 100% like the big chains. Provide predictable, modest annual increases of 3 to 6% and consistent quality. Always answer your phone. Your scaling levers are 1. Add units. More containers equals more revenue. Linear scaling. 2. Raise rates. 3 to 6% annual increases are industry standard and expected. 3. Premium upgrades. Start providing climate control units that command a 25 to 50% premium. 4. Add services. Packing supplies, truck rental partnerships, tenant insurance, you name it. 5. A second location. Once you stabilize one facility, replicate the model. The revenue model evolution typically looks like year 1, core storage. Year 2, add premium and additional services. Year 3, start adding additional locations. Gavin Shields said he'd achieving 35 to 40% ROI in his first facility in Northern Ireland. His second reached break even and he expects 25 to 30% ROI in the next year. Those are real numbers from a real operator. So let's talk operations, the boring stuff that determines success or failure. Team structure at the start. It's you, a solo operator. Management software automates 80% of tasks. Remote monitoring via cameras and smart locks helps, and part-time help is potentially a good avenue for cleaning and maintenance as needed. The infrastructure requirements that trip people up pretty often include things like zoning. Self-storage doesn't neatly fit into any residential or commercial or even industrial categories, so you need to check with your local planning department before you fall in love with any particular site. The second is security. This is non-negotiable. Real cameras that record, gates that close, lighting that deters. One bad review about a break-in can tank your entire business. Software, things like Stora, Storable, or Unit Track are $30 to $300 per month. They automate reports, they save operators easily 50 hours a month through automation. Now, what founders wish they'd known? Security is reputation. Invest upfront. Check zoning first. Some jurisdictions will require you to be 3 miles from any other facility. So how do you fund this thing, right? Well, here's the advice I heard repeatedly through my research. Start smaller than you think, learn the business, then scale bigger than you think. Bootstrapping works for levels 1 and 2. You can start from $0 to $25,000 from savings or full cash flow from level 1. That gives you full control and no debt. Equipment financing works really once you get to level 3. Buying containers and gates can be financed easily with anywhere up to 20% down. SBA loans work for levels 3 and 4 where you have traction and you're looking to really scale aggressively. SBA 7 offers anywhere up to 25-year terms, so it makes debt serviceable, manageable, and even pretty appealing during your ramp up. Profitability path months 1 to 6 are your investment phase. You need to build occupancy and target a break even at around 12 to 18 months. From 18 months onward should be your profitable period with reinvestment into services and expansion. AJ Osborne started with 1 facility. Gavin Shields bootstrapped his build. Joe converted existing property. Prove the model with your own sweat, then scale with financing. Alright, so let's recap the 3 most surprising insights from this research. The first, you can start self-storage for literally $0 by renting out space you either already have and listing on platforms like Neighbour. 2, container-based facilities cost 85% less than traditional construction. We're talking like $60,000 versus $700,000. 3, small operators control 40% of this $44 billion market. The fragmentation is your opportunity. And if you're serious about starting this business, your next step is simple. Start with level 1. List your garage or driveway on Neighbour or Spacer this week. Get your first customer, learn what they value and what they need, and go from there. Do that before you spend a single dollar on equipment or containers. And if you found this valuable, please subscribe and hit the bell for more deep dives on business opportunities like this. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear if you're considering starting a self-storage business or if you have any further questions. And I'll see you on the next one.